So we humans are also animals. And like other mammals, it is our instinct to fiercely protect our young from threats. Climate change is a colossal threat to our children, to our grandchildren, and the organization Mothers Out Front has fired up the protective love, fired up that protective love of parents and grandparents, and gotten more and more people involved in climate justice. It is my honor to introduce a founding member of Mothers Out Front, Better Future Project, and 350 Massachusetts, Vanessa Rule.
Hello, everyone. How are you feeling out there? Inspired? All right. So, 2017, that's 2 years from now. That is the date, the year that the International Energy Agency has said we need to stop burning and stop building fossil fuel infrastructure, not just in Massachusetts, but worldwide, right? If we want to stay under 2 degrees and have a climate future, a livable future on this planet, we need to stop building fossil fuel infrastructure in 2 years. So my name is Vanessa Rule. I'm the co-founder of Mothers Out Front and the organizing director. I'm also the mother of Cedric and Isabel, who are out here somewhere. And so when I was 10 years old, a bomb exploded in Paris, where I lived, at a synagogue. And it was a Friday night. It was October of 1980. And on Monday morning, I went to school. And I was in the courtyard, and I saw my friend Carole, who was one of the few Jewish kids in my class. And she came up to me with tears in her eyes and fear on her face. And she said, "Did you see what they did to the Jews?" And I didn't know what to say. I held her hand and I nodded, but I really felt powerless, and I felt overwhelmed and scared, just as scared as she was. And then a few days later, my mother took me to a march. I held her hand, and we marched in the streets of Paris in silence with 200,000 people who had spontaneously showed up over a couple of days to stand in solidarity with Jewish people everywhere in oppression. And at that moment, my fear faded, and I felt hope, and I felt like human beings, when they come together, when they are threatened, can do anything because of love. So that experience is one that I have heard in a lot of different ways from the mothers and the grandmothers that I've been working with in the last few years, right? Anne Goodwin, who's sitting right here. Maybe not anymore. Yeah, Anne. Anne talks about seeing her daughter Lyda grow up and how terrifying it felt at times to see her go out into the world, a world that was increasingly unsafe and scary, and how she would just look away and try not to think about it too hard. And Nina, who said that she got ready to take action, but she just didn't know where to start. She didn't know what to do, right? Have any of you felt that way before? Yes. That's a common experience, right? So Nina and Anne are now part of Mothers Out Front, and they're not afraid anymore. They are hopeful, and they are figuring out together what they need to do because they chose not to stand alone, right? So this is what happens when people come together. A couple months ago, Nina and 5 other mothers in Cambridge went to see one of their city councilors, Dennis Carlone. And they said, "Dennis, we have made a really important choice for our kids. We have decided to switch to clean electricity in our homes because we can." And that may sound like a token gesture, but in fact it isn't. It is one of the most concrete things that we can do right now to disengage from the grips of the fossil fuel industry and take power into our own hands and make the choice that we need to make, which is the right choice for our kids. The problem is we cannot do this alone. If it's just us doing this, it's not going to work, right? So we've gotten already 100 people in Cambridge to do the same thing. And now we want you to do that as well. And we don't want you to stop at that. We want you to switch the city of Cambridge. We want the city of Cambridge to switch from dirty electricity to clean renewable energy. So of course he had, because he knew they were coming. He had switched his household. So that meeting took place at noon. By 10 p.m. that night, he had drafted policy order number 18 to order the city of Cambridge to break its contract with TransCanada and replace it with 100% renewable energy. So that team isn't done, because now the city manager actually needs to implement the policy, and he has the discretion to set to what percentage he's going to be putting renewable energy or just regular energy, just not from TransCanada. So the thing is, this is just one team. This is just one group of moms, right? And there are plenty of you out here who are involved in groups like this one. So I heard that a couple of nights ago, Lexington, Massachusetts, divested its pension fund from fossil fuels. All right, and then 2 nights later, it voted to embrace community aggregation, which is going to allow for a whole lot more renewable energy. All right, those are just 2 groups. So I just want to do a little shout out here to all the people that are doing amazing work. So just for Mothers Out Front, we have 10 teams in Massachusetts. So I'm going to go through them, and then I want you to all make noise, all right? So Arlington, Belmont, downtown Boston, Cambridge, Brookline, Concord, Jamaica Plain, Lexington, Pioneer Valley, Somerville. Make some noise. All right, and who here is from Mass Audubon, the Sierra Club, ORS, the Massachusetts Climate Action Network, the Concord Climate Action Network, 350 Massachusetts and Better Future Project, Faith Communities, Biodiversity for a Livable Climate. Make some noise. All right, so we are building quite a movement. This has been an incredible week, right? With everything that happened at Harvard. Unfortunately, it's not enough. We are not big enough. We're not doing enough. Right now, in Salem, Massachusetts, construction crews are getting ready to build a brand new fracked natural gas plant. The pilings were poured a couple weeks ago. Kinder Morgan Corporation is lobbying our legislators, Governor Baker, our utilities, to build a brand new pipeline through the state that is going to connect to a network of pipelines in the Northeast that's just being built out right now to bring in fracked natural gas from Pennsylvania. That cannot continue, right? If these projects get built in the Northeast and all over the United States, we don't have a chance. So we need to act, and the powers that are facing us are huge. The fossil fuel industry has a lot of power. There is so much money at stake, and they have too much power over our elected officials. And what we need to do is to build the counter movement, right? We need to go and we need to switch, and then we need to go and tell our elected officials at the community level, just like those Cambridge bombs did, to switch. And then we're going to build allies with those elected officials, and then we're going to go to Governor Baker, and we're going to say, Governor Baker, you need to switch. You need to switch Massachusetts by making it the first state in the nation to commit to meeting all new energy needs with clean, renewable energy. And you need to draw the line on any new fossil fuel infrastructure. All right. So how many of you out here have switched already to clean electricity? All right, that's great. It's not everybody. So this is a really easy thing to do. People think that you need to get, construction crews to your house, you need to put up solar panels, it's going to be incredibly complicated. Not so. All you need to do is go home, pull out your electricity bill, turn on your computer, go to mothersoutfront.org and click on switch. Fill in the forms and you're done. All right. But that's not going to be enough. We need to get everybody to do this, right? So you need to go out there and you need to get involved in one of your local groups, be it Mothers Out Front, 350 Massachusetts, one of your faith communities. And we are just going to need to go out there and find all the Ann Goodwins and the Ninas who are sitting out there feeling powerless, and alone, and we need to bring them into this movement, and we need to grow big. And so, you know, there are mothers in New York right now, in Rochester, New York, and New York City, that are organizing to do this, and we're going to be going into a third state in the fall, and we're going to keep growing, and we're going to do this until we get it done. All right, let's do it.